Most businesses and homeowners install surveillance systems at their properties to ward off criminals who might want to help themselves to their valuables. When these systems fail as a warning, they are a valuable source of evidence when criminals are being sought. But every so often, security cameras capture strange footage that cannot be explained. Number 5. Deer Park CBS is a Christian Brothers school located in Cork, Ireland. It's one of the oldest high schools in southern Cork, having been established in 1828 before moving to its current location in 1968. On the 26th of October in 2017, the school released footage from its CCTV surveillance system that shows apparent poltergeist activity in the school's hallways. The video even inspired the school to hold an event called Fear Park, where members of the public could visit the premises and decide for themselves whether or not it's actually haunted. The video begins at 5:36 a.m., showing a view of one of the school's empty corridors. A sudden bang rings out with enough force to shake the security camera, followed by an eerie silence. Next, at 5:37, one of two chairs placed against a wall seems to be dragged up the wall before being dropped back down with a loud thud, followed again by silence. A few seconds later, a backpack that is placed on a block of lockers is thrown to the floor, landing a few feet away from the lockers near a dustbin before a poster hanging in the same area is seemingly ripped off the wall by an unseen force and flung across the hallway. Lastly, one of the three chairs placed just under the security camera starts to shift on its own before being dragged across the corridor, coming to rest against the opposite wall, and this is where the clip of 1 minute and 40 seconds ends. It's not the first time that the school has claimed to have experienced poltergeist activity. Earlier in the same month, on Sunday, October 1st, the first video shows strange flashes of light, lockers shaking by themselves, a locker door flying open, causing its contents to spill out, and an upright wet floor sign being spun, causing it to collapse to the floor. When the video was met with some criticism after its release, Deputy Principal Aaron Wolf said that he only wished the school had equipment like a green screen and video editing software. Number 4. Jennifer Keese from Orlando, Florida, graduated from the University of Central Florida in 2003, and in January of 2006, she was working as a finance manager at Central Florida Investments timeshare company. She had also just bought a condominium in Orlando, and on the weekend of the 21st of January, she'd spend time with her boyfriend in the Virgin Islands. Upon their return on Sunday the 22nd, she stayed over at her boyfriend's house and in the morning drove to work for her shift. At around 6 p.m. that evening, she was seen by her colleagues leaving work, and she would have a telephone conversation with her father while on the way home at 6:15 and another with her boyfriend at 10 p.m. When she failed to check in with her boyfriend before work the next morning, as she usually did, he found it strange and he tried to call her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. She didn't arrive at work that morning either, and her employer contacted her parents. They drove to her house, which was 2 hours away, and found that her car was missing, but everything inside her house seemed to be normal. They found a wet towel and clothes laid out, and it seemed that she'd gotten ready for work. When no one had heard from her by that evening, friends and family started to distribute flyers asking for information on her whereabouts, and the Orlando Police Department started a search on foot and horseback, aided by helicopters, boats, and ATVs. 2 days later, security footage from an apartment complex 1.2 miles from Jennifer's home would emerge, showing someone in the act of parking Jennifer's car, getting out of the vehicle, and walking off. One of the complex's tenants noticed that the car had been sitting in the parking lot for several days and contacted police. The best footage that could be pulled from their surveillance cameras shows the unnamed person leaving the area. But as the camera only took a photo every 3 seconds, their face is perfectly obscured by a fence post in one of the still images. When some of Jennifer's valuables were found to still be in the car, police ruled out robbery and found that the car had been wiped clean of fingerprints. Police were unable to ping her cell phone as it was switched off, and her bank account has not seen any activity since her disappearance. Despite her company offering a reward of $1 million in 2007, Jennifer has never been found. Number 3. 47-year-old Adam Lees is the managing director at Limitless Security, which monitors hundreds of building sites across the UK through their security systems. On the 18th of August 2020, he was awoken at 1:53 a.m. by an alert sent to his laptop from a building site in Birmingham. A motion sensor had picked up movement at the site, which he found strange as there should not have been anyone on site that early in the morning. He immediately checked to see what the camera had spotted and sent through, and says what he saw gave him shivers and that he'd never seen anything like it before. Clearly visible on the image is a woman who's dressed in what looks like a wedding gown. She seems to be holding a bridal bouquet, as if waiting to be married while walking past a fence and some building supplies. He was immediately taken aback and he informed the on-site security that someone was walking around on the site. Within 10 minutes, security guards had reached the spot where the camera had taken the image, but to their surprise, found no trace of anyone. Adam didn't sleep for the rest of the night and says that he never believed in ghosts, but doesn't know how to explain the image. He added that people have been saying the image is faked, but he assures them that it's 100% real, though he wishes it wasn't. He added that in 5 years of site monitoring, it's by far the strangest thing he's ever seen. Number 2. Stephen Kocher, a 30-year-old man from St. George in Utah, graduated with a degree in communications from the University of Utah. He followed in his father's footsteps and decided to become a journalist after graduating. He's described as a church-going man and had moved to St. George from Salt Lake City because he preferred the warmer weather. On December 10, 2009, Stephen drove to West Wendover, Nevada, where he visited with the grandparents of his ex-girlfriend. After spending a few hours there, they left their house and stopped for gas and for something to eat while still in Salt Lake City. The following day, he phoned his mother and told her that he would be home on the 23rd in time for Christmas. On the 12th of December, he drove to Overton, Nevada, stopping for gas in Mesquite. Here, he bought snacks, a bib, and some cookies, which were presumed to have been intended as Christmas gifts for his brother's children. On the 14th, his car was found abandoned at a retirement community in Sun City. Police checked a surveillance system from one of the houses and found footage of Stephen driving his car through the neighborhood at 11:54 a.m. 6 minutes later, a man who his family believes is Stephen is seen walking down the road holding something that looks like an envelope in his hands. When his phone was pinged, it showed that he was in an area about 10 miles away from his car. 2 hours later, it showed him to be in the Henderson-Whitney Ranch neighborhood. The following morning, his phone was used to check his voicemail and would later ping from Interstate 515 in US Route 93. His family traveled to his house on December 18th to see what they could find out and noticed that his computer and phone charger were still there, but his passport was missing. The homes in the retirement community were searched by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police, who were assisted by helicopters, terrain vehicles, and search dogs that searched the surrounding area, but nothing was found. In April of 2010, police received a tip that Stephen might be in the desert near the Henderson Executive Airport, and more than 70 people joined in on the search, but again, nothing was found. His family has stated that they believe he met up with someone for a job interview or a church group, but something had gone terribly wrong. He remains missing, and no further clues have ever been found. Number 1. On February 8, 2019, Jon Johnson, a 47-year-old native of Iceland, where he works as a taxi driver, made a trip to Ireland accompanied by his fiancée, where he intended to enter the D4 Dublin Poker Festival. During his time there, the couple stayed at the Bonington Hotel, a 4-star establishment located about 2 miles from Dublin's city center. But on the 9th of February, a day before the poker tournament was supposed to start, Jon is seen on CCTV footage leaving the Bonington, and he never returned. He was last seen near the Highfield Hospital walking down Swords Road. When he was reported missing by his fiancée, his phone, which had been having battery trouble, was found in his hotel room along with his passport. Jon's brother, David, was joined by 11 other relatives who traveled to Dublin from Iceland to search for him. They checked his online activity and his financial records, but nothing out of the ordinary was found. His bank account has also seen no activity, and his brother stated that they're unsure whether he had any cash on him, and if he did, it was only enough to pay for entry to the poker tournament, which was €1,000. His brother stated that Jon has no history of mental health issues and that he was physically fit. On the 3rd day after his disappearance, a specialist search was organized with the help of search and rescue specialists in Iceland. The team managed to thoroughly search areas that had only been scanned up to this point, and they covered hundreds of miles, putting up flyers as they went. In 2020, a journalist published an article on independent.ie in which he claims that he was working closely with a prisoner in Iceland who has information on Jon's disappearance. The prisoner claims that Jon never made it to the tournament due to a poker game that had gone terribly wrong. The article states that Johnson lost $4,700 in poker and that the money was given to him by an Icelandic criminal. The money is said to have been allotted as the entry fees for a group of players, and when he lost the money, he went to meet with the man who'd given him the money. What happened next is not clear, though the prisoner claims that the criminal lost his temper upon hearing this news and that he likely killed Johnson. His family has refuted these claims, stating that the information is made up, and at best that the journalist made use of unreliable sources when writing the article. Johnson has never been found. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.